Muy buenas tengan ustedes, fortuneros y fortunatos. ¿Cómo va? Bueno, vamos a ver si este juego se termina acá en este video o en el video siguiente, porque me parece que le falta poco. Lo jugué hace muchísimo, pero no me acuerdo de todo. Así que, bueno. Pero eso sí, antes que nada, les recuerdo lo de siempre.
Denle like a este video, comenten, suscríbanse a mi canal, compártanlo, activen la campanita de notificaciones. Si se sienten millonarios, pueden hacerme llegar alguna ayudita mediante los links de Mercado Pago y cafecito que hay en la descripción del video. Y si quieren contar con contenido exclusivo, pueden hacerse miembros de mi canal.
Ya dado el recordatorio de lo que tienen que hacer, empecemos. Muy bien, salimos de lo de Rodan y tenemos que... pero no me acuerdo dónde había dicho que teníamos que ir a buscar al troll. A ver, acá sería acá. A ver qué pasará acá.
Floyd, are you there? No, there's no one named Floyd here. Don't lie, Floyd. Firstly, I recognize your voice. And secondly, I've spoken to Rodan. Don't worry, I'm not gonna cause you any trouble. All you have to do is cooperate with me, and I'll leave you alone. Were you followed? No, I've got cautious about that recently. What do you want? Nice place you have here. Cut this small talk. Just ask these questions and get out.
Okay.
Tell me about Nylan Athatep. No. Ask me something else. Were you part of the Nylan Athatep worshippers? Not tell you nothing. Who are you running from, Floyd? Not saying nothing. Do you know what quad nescient eos interficit means? That's the thingy. Quad nescient eos interficit. The thingy? What does it mean to you? I could very quickly lose patience with you, Floyd. Did anyone ever mention the radiant trapezohedron to you, Floyd? The radiating trapezohedron? I'll take that as a no. Why have you inscribed an Elver sign on the floor? No reason. It wasn't so that you could protect yourself, was it? No. It's just that it that's all. You're lying, Floyd. You're terrified. You think the symbol is going to protect you. What if I do? That's my right. Who's it going to protect you from, Floyd? Not going to say that name ever again. Never. Maybe I can help you. No one can help me now.
Errata.
What do you know about the goddess Errata? I wouldn't know nothing about that.
Se nos terminaron las cosas. Entonces el inventario. A ver. El false.
I have the Fellshield. I think it might be possible to stop Nylan Athatep using the sword, but I need to know how. Dunno. They didn't tell me nothing like that. Are you telling me that you were part of a secret cult, but you didn't know anything that was going on? Well, I did what Mooncalf told me most of the time. Because he was the leader, you mean? Well, he was the figurehead, but I didn't know he was the leader. Then why were you following Mooncalf's instructions? He was my contact. That's how we stayed in touch. Use contact keeps you in touch with what goes down. I see. Does this amulet mean anything to you? Yeah, that does look familiar. That's Satrap's. This belongs to Satrap? Are you sure? Sure, I'm sure. Saw it round his neck. And where is he now? Dunno. Everyone in the cult had a contact, right? That's right. So who was Satrap's contact? That was Gelid. And where can I find Gelid? Dunno, but I think he worked as a porter up at the university.
Portero.
That's all I need to know. Thanks.
Bueno, entonces vamos a la universidad, ¿no?
It had been a while since I'd been to the new hall, and I had a bad feeling about what Mrs. Folmes would have to say to me if she saw me.
Mr. Luton, I was wondering if you'd turn up again.
Can I come in?
No, you're fired. Worst bedmaker I ever hired.
Listen, I have to get inside the university. There's a dangerous cult trying to destroy the city, and I need to talk to someone inside.
That's what they all say. Now goodbye and don't come back.
That wasn't what I wanted to hear.
Ok. Entonces, ¿dónde podemos ir ahora?
Things are looking busy in here, Nobby. Yeah, I don't know what's come over everyone, but they're acting crazy. Crazy? Isn't that a subjective term around here? What? Never mind. What sort of crazy things? People attacking each other for no good reason. Jumping to their deaths, too. We haven't seen such carnage since the rule of Lord Snapcase. We've got riots out there, and they're not even being started by dwarves. I've never seen anything like it. It's going to get worse. How can you tell? Trust me, this is only the beginning.
Bueno, a ver. Se me apareció la pista Helidon. No me había
I
dado
need to
cuenta.
get into the unseen universe.
Ah.
I want you to help me do it. How? Can't you get me some kind of warrant or something? No, absolutely not. Vimes would go spare if he knew I'd given a search warrant to you. A search warrant? Yeah, it's a piece of parchment from the patrician allowing us to search a premises. Or is that a premise? Well, I need one. I can't do it, Luton. It's more than my job's worth. The survival of the city might depend on it. You'd say anything just to get your own way.
Ah,
All right, if that's the way it's going to be. How did you get into my office the other day, Nobby? The door was open. No, it wasn't. I always lock my door. In that neighborhood, my coffee maker wouldn't last 10 minutes if I didn't. Well, I found my way in. Let's just leave it at that, eh? How would Vimes feel if he learned that you'd been breaking and entering onto private property just to fill your own pockets? You're not going to tell him, are you, Luton? He'd go spare. Well, you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. What would I want my back scratched for? I mean, I'll ignore your transgression if you get me a warrant to let me into the university. I don't know about this, Luton. I think... Act now. You can think about it later. Okay. Wait here. Well, if I couldn't count on him as a friend, I could always count on him as a... Now get out before somebody sees you. Consider me gone.
muy bien. Volvamos a la universidad.
Open up! Open up!
Hold on, hold on. What is it? Oh, it's you.
I have here a signed parchment from the oblong office allowing me access to university grounds.
Let me see that.
You'll see it's completely in order.
All right, you can come inside. Where did you get this from?
I'm a private investigator. I got this through legitimate channels.
What sort of legitimate channels?
That's not for me to discuss.
This is most aggravating. Right, here's what's going to happen. You wait here, and I'm going to go and have a word with the watch. If this checks out, then I won't have any choice but to let you in. And if it doesn't, I'll be back with the watch to have you arrested. Is that clear?
Perfectly.
Don't touch anything, don't go anywhere. Do I make myself clear?
Perfectly.
I don't like you, Luton, and I don't trust you. But you'd better not cross me on this. I'll be back shortly.
I look forward to it. Sheesh. What did she think she'd do to me? Choke me with a duster? Now to find Gelid. I'd have to be fast. There was no telling what Folmes would do when she got back. I certainly couldn't count on Nobby to back me up when the old battle axe came storming into the watch house. I couldn't stop myself. The scent of blood made me lose control, and I transformed into my wolf. I followed the trail of blood from the concourse up onto the rooftops. I found the Bledlow's body by the observatory. No attempt had been made to hide it. I don't think the murderer cared. I could hear voices coming from inside the observatory, and even though my better judgment said to stay away, my curiosity drew me on. I hoped there was a limitation to how many times curiosity could kill the werewolf. I made my way into the observatory, and inside was a wizard whose voice I recognized. Satrap. I wasn't sure what he was doing, but it couldn't be good.
The stars are right! A bit further! Now, left! Left a bit!
A golem was operating the cranks for the observatory's main telescope, and Satrap was calling out instructions. I guess he was looking for something.
Mr. Luton, do come in. I've been expecting you.
You've been using your magic to spy on me?
No, I saw you through the telescope.
Mind telling me what you're doing?
Oh, the same as everyone else. Waiting for the end of all creation.
All creation?
Well, Nylon Athertep might only destroy Ankh-Morpork to begin with, but I'm sure it will get around to destroying everything sooner or later. It's all just a matter of time.
So you're the leader of the dark sect of Nylon Athertep, then?
Luton, I am the dark sect. They would be nothing without me.
And you're a wizard?
The professor of astrology, as it happens. I acquired the job only recently, although it has been empty for a while. Mathom was interested in the post, but I was fortunate enough to dispose of him as part of the summoning ritual.
So there was some internal politics involved in that murder.
Oh, make no mistake, most of those 8 murders served another purpose. People don't become cultists because they want to help the gods out. They know that it's a good way to get what they want, to justify whatever unspeakable acts they want by blaming it on a god.
Carlotta needed Reagan killed because he was blackmailing her, and Mundy had the sword. What about the merchant Gaiman?
He and Kondo never got on. For all I know, there were reasons that the other people were chosen as well. It's often the way of these things.
Kondo's dead. I killed him.
Well, that'll be one less thing for Nylon Athertep to do when he gets here.
How many of the cultists were secretly in the dark sect?
Only myself and Kondo. But Foyd was easily manipulated to our ends as well. He rarely had any idea what was going on. We just used him because it suited our purposes to do so. Foyd couldn't have told anyone what we were doing because he only barely understood anything that was going on around him.
What about Gelid? Did you kill him?
Yes, he had to be removed. He was still loyal to Anu Anu, and he had outlived his usefulness.
What have you done with Carlotta?
As far as I know, she's still tending the wounds of that wretched excuse for a god.
You pulled the wool over her eyes, didn't you? Pretending to worship Anu Anu.
The wool? I pulled the whole sheep.
Was Horst somehow involved in your plans?
Horst? Ha! Without Horst, we'd have never gotten Monday staying in the Octarine Parrot. The trouble with trying to murder in a geometric shape is you're really quite restricted as to where you can work.
So how come Horst's name isn't on the list?
He's not a cultist, Luton. He's just a greedy troll who thought helping us would get him the sword.
Instead, it's going to get him and everyone else killed.
I really think you should have let me say that. I mean, you say it in such a disappointing fashion. I can deliver lines like that with much greater dramatic effect.
You're a vain, arrogant, dangerous man, Satrap.
Thank you.
Where's the trapezohedron?
It's funny you should ask. I was just looking for it now. Once we have our hands on it, nothing will stop Nylon Athatep. The whole of creation will be destroyed.
Don't you think that laugh is a little over the top?
Listen, Luton. There are fewer perks than you might think to being what most people would consider an insane psychopath plotting the destruction of everything. I have always thought that a good dose of mad laughter was something I had earned the right to indulge in.
This whole plan is crazy, Satrap. No one in their right mind plots such mindless destruction on such a large scale. You need help.
I have all the help I need, Luton. I have Nylonathatep.
It's not helping you. It wouldn't help anyone. It is totally evil.
Evil? No. I will not accept that. It is conditioned simply to survive, and it can survive only by dominating all other life. When all other life is suppressed, then we will have peace. Wars will end. It is a power not of evil, but of good.
Satrap, if you had created a spell that could destroy all forms of life, would sweep throughout the disk and leave nothing in its wake, would you allow its use?
It is an interesting conjecture.
But would you do it?
Yes. Yes. To hold in my hand a scroll that contains such power. To know that life,
Se pone pesada la
on
charla.
such a scale, was my choice. To know that the faintest of breaths speaking those words would end everything. Yes! Yes! I would do it. That power would set me up among the gods, and through Nylonathatep, I have that power!
You're deranged, Satrap. I thought Mooncalf was bad, but you take the honors. I can't allow this to continue. I have to stop you.
You cannot stop me now! I'm invincible!
Give it up, Satrap. It's over. I pursued Satrap up onto the roof. His robes were rank with the stench of Gavin's blood, and I couldn't control myself. The next thing I knew, Satrap's body was tumbling down the roof into a crumpled heap below.
Ahora se viene otro diálogo con la muerte.
Get down here! This isn't over! Don't turn away from me while I'm talking to you! Come back! This isn't over!
It is for you.
Oh, black spectre of the cold sleep of death. Leave me, your humble servant, so that I can witness the destruction I have wrought in thy name.
Wrought in thy name. You should get out more often, Satrap.
I live to serve you.
Really? Any good at making curry?
No. But I am causing death and destruction on a scale as yet unprecedented.
And you think that makes me happy? I'm not the god of death, you know. I'm just death. I'm just providing a service. There are times, you know, when I get really annoyed by you mortals.
Does that mean I'm going to be punished for all eternity?
If that's what you want.
Isn't there some way I can bargain with you?
Nothing springs to mind.
Surely someone has found a way to attempt to avoid the final curtain?
Well, people sometimes challenge me to a game.
Do they ever win?
No. But someone once challenged me to that one where you knock a little ball out of a hole. Flog, I think it was called.
What sort of game is that?
A really stupid one to play against a person who spends every second working on his swing.
Can I play you at it?
If you like. Last time I got a birdie on the 18th. But it was its own fault for flying so low.
Igual no entiendo lo del albatros.
Anything to save my life. Whatever you ask.
You're afraid of dying, aren't you?
I didn't think I would be. But I was wrong.
Here. Take my hand. There's nothing to worry about. The hard part is over.
Why are you being so nice to me? I tried to destroy all of creation.
Well, nobody's perfect.
Cada vez más largos los diálogos. A ver, ¿qué pasa acá? ¡Apa! A ver... Golem. Golem. No, Golem, no Golem.
I could tell the golem what to do, but beyond that there wasn't much I could do. The golem didn't say much. It wasn't their way. The huge telescope was too large to be moved by hand, so a nearby golem operated the cranks. The view through the telescope showed me nothing.
Mosaicos.
Fascinating though they were, I couldn't do anything to the mosaics with my bare hands. The floor of the observatory was decorated with the 64 signs of the zodiac. They were all here. The celestial parsnip, the cow of heaven, the knotted string, even Okjok the salesman.
¿Qué nombre raro? A ver, que no tenía... A ver... El mapa estelar. Porque para algo me dieron un mapa estelar, a ver.
I looked at the star map and back to the mosaics. The map seemed to include a constellation. All I had to do was find out which one and tell the golem to move the telescope to look at it. Well, it was a plan of sorts. I suppose the small, boring group of faint stars might have been on the map, but if they were, they'd been drawn much brighter than they really were. Swing the telescope around to face the small, boring group of faint stars. The stars seemed to be pointing at the Selachi Mausoleum. If the map was right, the jewel was somewhere inside.
Bueno, entonces... Al mausoleo. Bueno, cielo.
I liked the sky as much as the next man, but it wasn't exactly something I could pick up and put in my pocket. I used the astrolabe to see exactly where Tukonker's map pointed. They seemed to be indicating a grotesque in the entrance chamber.
Grotesco.
I searched the grotesque carefully and concluded that it was a cover stone for something underground. I pushed it, opening up the crypt below.
De acuerdo.
The stale air told me that this chamber hadn't been visited in hundreds of years. In the gloom, I could make out a single sarcophagus. The lid of the sarcophagus was sealed shut.
A ver...
I couldn't move the peg with my hands.
Habrá que abrirla con algo. A ver, mano.
I don't think that had anything to do with the indent.
What? La moneda. Ah. Bien.
Mundy's coin fitted the indentation perfectly, and with it I could easily turn the peg. There was a faint click, and the sarcophagus opened. Inside the sarcophagus was a suit of armor, grasping a glowing gem that could only be the radiant trapezohedron. I wasn't expecting the armor to burst into life, though.
Thanks a lot. 400 years to come and let me out. And the first thing you do is cut my arm off. It'll take ages to sew back on.
I'm sorry. I just sort of acted reflexively.
So you instinctively cut the arm off people you meet?
If they come bursting out of a coffin, yes.
It's a
Dale
sarcophagus.
con él. Se le pone empezado con las especificaciones.
Sarcophagus. Donated to the order.
Y se le ve ahí, sí.
Nice people.
And you're vitally impaired.
Vitally impaired. What's that supposed to mean? Call a spade a spade. I'm a zombie. Right.
If that's the way you want it, I need that jewel.
I'm sure you do. But first, you must answer the riddle and prove your worth.
The riddle?
Indeed. Are you ready, mortal?
This is ridiculous. I'm in a real hurry and I need that jewel.
Oh, please. I've been here for 400 years. Please let me ask the riddle.
Make it fast.
All right. What is... oh, bugger. I've forgotten it.
You've forgotten it?
Well, it has been 400 years. You see how good your memory is after 4 centuries. Especially when you got mice.
Can I have the jewel or not?
No. I have to ask the riddle. How else am I going to know if you're a follower of the dark cults?
A ver. Yo quiero hablar con él. A ver.
Look, I have the golden falchion. Surely that counts for something.
Oh, I knew you had the sword. But that's no help if you're on the side of darkness and you have the falchion. Then I definitely can't give you the jewel.
How did you know I had the sword?
I saw you coming in the jewel.
Really? Did you see anything else?
Oh, I've been watching the progress of the sword since I got here.
In which case you must have seen Mundy hide the sword in the crate, and me recover it from Vault 51.
Yes, I did.
So, you saw me killed by Anu Anu.
Oh, yeah. That big dog creature. How did you survive that, by the way?
Carlotta had turned me into a werewolf.
I thought it might be something like that.
No, se pone pesada con los diálogos en este juego.
Cliffhanger endings. I remember 200 years ago when I saw someone go off the cliff in a cart. Only it turned out he actually leapt clear at the last minute. I call that cheating.
Anyway, did you see when Anu Anu summoned Nylon Athatep?
Oh, I see. That's what the big cosmic horror was then.
What did you think it was?
Well, I thought it might just have been fog. The reception in here isn't very good.
If you saw all that, you must know that I'm not with the forces of darkness.
Hang on. You were there when this cosmic horror was summoned?
Yes.
Then why didn't you stop it?
I was being restrained. Come on, just give me the jewel.
No can do.
Oh.
You saw me defeat Satrap, wasn't that enough? Didn't you hear what he said?
No sound with the jewel, I'm afraid. You just get pictures.
Do you know what's most ridiculous about this? If I was with the Dark Sect, I'd just use the sword to kill you, and then just run off with the jewel.
You know, that's a very good
Alfred.
So I'll tell you what I'll do. Either give me the jewel freely, or I'll pretend I'm in the Dark Sects and I'll just take it.
You're not leaving me many options.
Jewel, please.
Here you go.
Thank you. And may I say, I hope the next 400 years just fly by.
Bueno, nos vamos.
Horst. I was wondering where you had got to.
¿Tan chico era Horst?
Engaged in similar pastimes.
Luton.
Ilsa.
As you can see, I have been forced to take more drastic action. I dislike having to take such radical steps, but since the untimely demise of Mr. Alcali, I no longer have the luxury of observing events from afar.
Let her go, Horst.
Let her go, Mr. Luton. You make it sound as if she is my prisoner. I am merely keeping her well protected against the more hostile elements of this wretched settlement.
Let her go.
That is precisely my intention, Mr. Luton. But first, you must fulfill your agreement with me.
You want the sword.
Indeed. You agreed to bring me the sword, and I'm here to collect.
No deal, Horst. I need the sword to stop Nylon Athatep.
Indeed. And what might that be, sir?
It's a creature from the dungeon dimensions, and it's loose in Ankh-Morpork.
That's his maybe. It still doesn't change our agreement. You promised me the sword, sir. I'm here to collect.
If I give you the sword, thousands will die.
Oh, come now. The world is full of people. What are the lives of those insignificant specks compared to our own desires? We, sir, are a breed apart from most people. We see what we want, and we take it. If a few tiny lights have to be extinguished to achieve our goals, then that is unfortunate. But it is of little consequence.
We're not talking about a few lights. We're talking about a few thousand lights. Maybe hundreds of thousands.
Then we will have to learn to live in the dark.
I can't do it, Horst.
Oh dear. I thought you were a man of your word, sir, but it seems I was mistaken. Very well. Then I am forced to take more drastic action. I don't know how much pressure it would take from my fingers to suffocate the young lady here. And I'm not entirely sure that I wouldn't apply slightly too much pressure and snap her spine. However, you have forced me to experiment.
Luton.
All right, Horst. You win. Let her go.
Excellent. I thought you were a man of reason, sir, and I was right. I admire a man who is not so stubborn as to throw away what he values just for his stubborn pride.
You've got what you wanted, now let her go! I took Ilsa back to my office. What other choice did I have? I felt so stupid, giving Horst the sword and staying with Ilsa as the troll disappeared into the night's fog. But even if I tried to follow him, the dark magenta stench of Nylon Athatep drowned out every other scent in the city. There was nothing I could do. After we'd both calmed down, I told her everything that had happened.
So Satrap was looking for Tukanka's jewel.
That jewel is known as the Radiant Trapezohedron, and I think it can save the city, but I have a nasty suspicion that we need this sword as well.
The Radiant Trapezohedron. Yes, it never occurred to me that they would be the same. The descriptions of the trapezohedron are vague at best. Satrap must have been trying to immanentize the Garunan Eschaton.
Let me try that again without sneezing.
The Garunan Eschaton is one of the many myths concerning the end of the Discworld. It's very obscure.
What's it about?
It tells how some of the entities from the dungeon dimensions have been trapped around the Discworld. Some in the lost city of Leshp, some in the heart of the Garuna Trench, some in places men don't even have names for. When the Eschaton occurs, They are supposed to be released from their captivity and destroy everything they can get their tentacles on. The usual thing.
Well, Nylanathatep is loose. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the end of everything. Maybe it's a good time to borrow lots of money.
Luton, I heard you'd been killed. I saw your grave.
I heal quickly.
I left a letter by your graveside.
I know. I saw it.
I wrote it when I had to leave you all those years ago, but I never had the courage to send it to you. I didn't know how to tell you that I was married.
To two conquerors.
Yes, he needs me, Luton. He always did. And in a strange way, I need him too. He gave my life meaning. I had nothing before I met him.
None of that matters anymore.
You never told me how you felt.
What's to tell? I was born when you kissed me, and I died when you left me. I lived a few weeks while you loved me. Of course, I also died when I got stabbed in the back, but you know, that wasn't nearly as painful.
I'm sorry.
I bet you never thought of me as a man who could fall in love.
I never thought about you at all. I couldn't. If I had, it would have driven me mad.
I thought about you every day, until I drank enough to forget. I let my life slide till there was nothing left to live for but bitterness. Well, all that's going to change. I'm going to save this city if I have to die again to do it. And I'm not going to do it for you, or for me, or for the worthless people who live in it. I'm going to do it to prove for once and for all that I'm not the washed-up loser everyone thinks I am. And if it turns out that I am, then everything will get destroyed and no one will know about it. So hey, from where I stand, there's no downside.
What are you going to do?
First of all, we have to find Horst.
How?
I have no idea.
Bueno, gente, por el momento estamos dejando acá esta historia que ya se está acercando a su final. Y la verdad que me alegro porque ya se estaba con tanto diálogo que le han estado poniendo últimamente, la quieren hacer graciosa pero queda medio tediosa. Bueno, mis queridos fortunatos y fortuneros, nos estamos viendo la próxima. Adiós.